We're starting off this morning checking in with Feeding Tampa Bay, a nonprofit that does amazing things for our community. As we all know by now, the government shutdown is putting a strain not only on federal workers, but also on thousands of local SNAP families. Thomas Mance from Feeding Tampa Bay is here to tell us more on how they're supporting our community and also how you can help. So thank you so much for being here. Well, it's great to have. We have so much to talk about because it's been about a month now that this government shutdown has been in place. What have you noticed there at Feeding Tampa Bay?
Well, I think what we saw first, of course, is government workers that are being required to work without pay, which would be difficult for all of us, right? Imagine that. I traveled not long ago through TSA and was aware that those folks were working but not getting paid, and so we've tried to make sure they have whatever resources that they need. So we've been providing, of course, food to make sure there's food on the table, but we've also been providing other services, helping folks. Tico has been there with us to help with utility bills, other partners, to make sure that we can help folks navigate a difficult circumstance, because most of these folks would never have been in our care before. Right, and suddenly they're left without resources, and it's an opportunity and obligation of ours to step into that moment. But to your question, it's really, really hard. It's just really difficult to not be able to provide for your family. I think anybody would understand that.
Right, because it's not just the employees themselves, it's their families, it's their kids, it's everyone that, that you're having to help out now. And then let's talk a little bit about the SNAP benefits and what we're seeing there. November 1st, there was this reduction.
Sure, as difficult as it has been for our federal workers, there are about 500,000 folks that rely on SNAP in our community, in the 10 counties that we serve. That's a lot of people. And I think importantly for folks to understand about SNAP, about 70% of those users are children, seniors, and disabled. Right, so our most vulnerable folks normally rely on that vehicle, and as of November 1st, those funds aren't inside of households. And that, Janelle, is a significant and devastating impact on our community. And so, again, we're trying to step into that moment.
Yeah, and I know obviously with the holidays coming up, you guys are always busy, extra busy around the holidays. So what are you doing? Are you doing anything differently right now?
So in this kind of circumstance, even though it's not a natural disaster, we're treating it as we would any other disaster circumstance, where we've elevated our response as much as we can. We're supporting our 400 charity partners who are distributing food. We're doing mass distributions in certain places so that we can step into those moments. We had one last night. We expected 500 or 600 cars to show up. We had close to 1,000.
Wow.
And so, again, I'm reminded as I was on traffic detail, helping move folks through, and I'm reminded of the stories of the individuals sitting in those cars. I watched a mom open a bag of bread and hand bread to her child in the car. Right, because she's trying to make sure her kid has something to eat as soon as it can. And when you realize that's what's going on, it reminds you of how challenging it is for families to make it through these circumstances.
Yes, last year we were dealing with the hurricanes, and we need to treat this the same way. We were talking a little bit earlier. It's just like an emergency response.
It is, and I think in situations like this is where the community can step up. We're a volunteer-based organization, as are many others that are doing this work. We rely on donations from the community, which we appreciate, and folks can do food drives and other things like that, all of which you can find on our website.
Yeah, so really you need support, right? You need support from the community, you need volunteers, you need food, monetary donations, always important.
Yes, community steps in to help community. Right, that's how it works. Is you have friends and neighbors who are struggling, and everybody that will watch this segment knows somebody that comes to see us. So think about it that way. Think about helping a neighbor and step in. No matter what time of year it is harder during the holidays to not have the resources you need. But the answer is always the same, and that is all of us getting together and making sure that we look after each other.
Yeah, it's so interesting because, I mentioned the hurricanes. Last year, we were seeing a lot of people use your services that never had in the past, and I feel like now,
Same thing.
Same thing is happening.
It is. The great thing about SNAP is it kept folks in their home. It gave them a vehicle to use. Those monies were spent inside grocery stores, which is important also. And so now they would not have come to see us, but the options that they have been taken away for now. We hope it gets settled soon. So that folks can, again, return to some sense of balance and normalcy. Yeah,
and it's also important that we put a face on SNAP, right? The SNAP benefits. And you mentioned these are children, these are the elderly, are most vulnerable in our community.
Yes, and even think about the other SNAP users. Most of the people that use SNAP are employed.
Right.
So think about we're a leisure community, we're a tourism community, we're a hospitality community. Most all of those workers in that segment don't make enough to survive, and they rely on something like SNAP. So again, importantly, these folks are working. They're doing what we ask them to do. They just don't earn enough income. And going back to the point you brought up before, life prices, groceries, housing, cars, or daycare, all of those expenses are up 40% in the last 2 years.
Right.
So folks are struggling to begin with, and incomes have not caught up. And so I think if we could change anything in the narrative, it would be to remind people that these are folks that we know. They're our neighbors and our friends that need our help.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what website can we go to find out how to help?
FeedingTampaBay.org. You can find everything you need on that page. You can also check our social channels.
Perfect. There it is right there. Thank you so much.
We appreciate you having us.